Oh, hello again. What's up, everybody? Hello, chat room. What is up, everyone watching the old VODs on YouTube? And welcome, number 43 of The Edge. Look, I got all my co-hosts. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're putting on headphones and spinning around and trying to get the best angles for their face. That's actually not true. I don't know if they do that or not. Whatever. Coming up on tonight's episode, I'm going to bring up my notes so I know what the hell I'm saying. We got the latest hotfixes covered for you. We've actually even tested some of them out, so a little inside information on that. Was your class a winner or a loser? Or a rogue, like my class, in which no one gives a shit about, apparently. We look ahead to 6.1 already. I know, right? And, of course, the hashtag Candlegate fiasco. Matt is super excited about that. And speaking of the man, the myth, and the legend himself, Mr. Machero. What's just up, Matt?
It's an interesting week one. You know, did some damage in both normals and heroics. Not so much challenge modes this week. I'll tackle those a little later. I think the kind of the rush right now is to get our raiding characters geared up and do all that extra stuff on the side, right? Speaking of raid stuff, LFR comes out today. I ran it earlier. Anyone else try it out yet? Felt a little too easy, but maybe it's probably because it's full of the Tuesday keeners, you know what I'm talking about? So
Yeah, it was really easy, man.
yeah, it's a little, but you got another 30, like 25, 20 minutes or something like that. I'm like, huh.
I mean,
Right.
it could be the fact that there's a lot of already really geared people still doing it just for either the
Right.
stones or, you know what I mean? So, because someone was saying that they had like 8 stacks of rot, and they were just standing there, and
Yeah.
no big deal. It was like whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm like, huh, are we just too strong for this? Or did I get the Tuesday, you know, where all the guilds are rushing out and getting out of the way before their actual raids tonight? I don't know. But, you know, that was my my day.
The gear is terrible, though. Gear is terrible.
Yeah, right? It's,
It's bad.
I mean, temporal crystals, yeah, but, you know, otherwise, that's essentially, it just felt too easy.
Yeah.
Get your
Buff
applicator
LFR.
stones.
Yeah,
Get your applicators.
Yeah.
Alligator stones?
And that's what everyone's bitching about on the forums, but we'll get to that.
Alligator stones?
No, how easy LFR was. Kept thinking about playing the music twice. I'm so irritated right now. Katie, what's up?
Challenge modes. Never ending. I have so many repeat items but cannot replace my lose. It's killing me. But I got my Filark.
Nice.
Evergreen! Yay! It took me all week. So much rage. But that's okay. My rage can be quelled by the fact that I'm getting buffed all over the place. But we'll dive into that a little bit later. Missing raid-wise, missing a day kind of hurt us. We still did get 6 out of 7 and put, I think, maybe like a whole 45 minutes into the Imperator Heroic on Monday night. But we'll get him this week. Plus Mythic. Yay!
Will?
Damn, you got like all the positive stuff. I've got like all the negative stuff. I died in LFR today. I died.
Wow.
I died to the butcher cleave, like his little jump thing. I'm just like, I'm not that far away. Oh yes, I was the person far away, alone, / dead. Whoops.
That is the
So I
best.
just laid on the ground. No one rezzed me either.
Yeah. No.
Whole raid full, and no one rezzed me after the fight either. So I had to do the run back.
I know I wouldn't have res you.
Gee, thanks. So bad. So bad.
You die in
And with
LFR.
while
The mana to res.
Yeah, I guess.
That's terrible.
And while
No,
Katie
you
gets
release and you
buffed,
run in.
yeah. And while Katie gets buffed, I get nerfed. Marksman Huntership.
You needed to get nerfed, though.
GG. But
You got adjusted.
yeah, adjusted. Yeah.
Kill shot OP. Not anymore.
Yeah. But we hacked away at those Heimal bosses as well. Only got to 6 out of 7 normal and 1 out of 7 heroic. Like everyone killed Kargath on heroic. That seemed to be a common thing. And finally did get my pally leveled and geared, and so I can do an alt run and start messing with him. So happy about that.
Nice.
And yeah, ready to go. Ready to get back in there tonight and kill some bosses.
And stuff. and things. I did a little bit of raiding myself, but I work a lot because it's the holidays. So that's kind of how my life is right now. This time of year, at least for what I do in my profession, is incredibly busy. So until things kind of mellow out a little bit, I can't really enjoy the late game as much until my schedule changes, which will be pretty soon. Also, a side note, since I like to do this, I have checked out the new Hearthstone Goblins vs. Gnomes expansion, and it has been pretty fun. And you guys play that yet? No?
Have not touched it. Too busy playing WoW. I figure if something happens to me and I pick up the Goblins vs. Gnomes expansion, my WoW career is done.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do it because I have it on the iPad, so I can just do it while I'm in my 45-minute DPS queues.
Yeah.
So that's a great time for to do that kind of stuff. Plus, of course, there is another really good show that covers Hearthstone stuff, and it's called the Hearthstone Power Hour, which normally goes live on Monday nights. But last night they were having some problems connecting because of everyone trying to get on and play. So I believe Twiz is going to be live at some point this evening, and you can check that out. So you can check out on Twitter at TwizCast. And he'll be announcing when he goes live, which is really cool. So, jumping back into actually what we are supposed to talk about, which is Warcraft stuff. News coverage that's been going around this week. Final Boss and Convert to Raid had some pretty good interviews this week, talking about kind of where the direction of Warcraft's going for 6.1 and some itemizations, how things are going to be implemented, whether they're going to be major changes sooner than later in terms of how class mechanics work and all that stuff. But one of the big things they want to talk about was something Matt is very excited to talk about, and that is the Candlegate Everburning Mana BS. So if you don't know basically what this was, it was basically a craftable trinket that would just give you an insane amount of mana. And
no, not craftable. I think it was just the world drop.
Was it the world drop? I thought it was craftable.
It's just the world drop, yeah.
I stand corrected.
The inscription one, that's the crafting.
Yes. One. So I stand corrected. The world drop, now which gave you, now I believe it said 20k mana, because I don't play healer, so I don't. I know
originally started. The original iteration was 5,000 mana, then they over buffed it to 20,000 mana on use.
So, but they said it was fine. So Watcher himself had said, everything's fine with this. This is working as intended. And people that put in the time for it, they felt like it, even though it was a little bit overtuned, which they admitted, like, okay, yeah, it makes a little bit too much, but we feel like the people that have put the time in to get it, it's worth it. But then the very next day, that all changed. And then they actually scaled it back. Because they're like, nope, you're right. You're right. This is real strong. You're right. So there was a pretty big blue post. Well, not pretty big, but it was like a paragraph or so long. And it kind of gave you the specifics of, okay, well, it reduced the mana restored from roughly 20,000 to roughly 10,000. It was funny because they even mentioned Final Boss, and this is a direct quote from Blizzard. It says, with regard to developer comments made yesterday during the Final Boss podcast interview, we understand changing our minds about not adjusting this item may be frustrating. At the time, we absolutely meant that we were okay with it being over budget in terms of what it provides. However, when designers took a closer look at this item this morning, they realized, whoops, that the mana being granted was excessive to the point that it risked undermining healer and encounter balance, and creating a world where healers with the Everburning Candle would play a different game with respect to mana longevity than those without. Interesting.
Mana? Who needs that? Isn't there resource classes? Just do those. I do feel bad for people who did buy this early on and realized how powerful it was, and now the power's down somewhat. And I kind of worry, too, about the effect it had on the actual races to get to 7 out of 7 heroic. I mean, not that it's like a race to that point, but, I mean, some people probably got used to playing last week with it, and now this next week they're going to have to adjust when they step into Mythic. So, but I don't know. How much were these going for on servers?
Pretty expensive, man.
They were, yeah. Mine topped out at 200 with a low on a 150. I got lucky and I got mine for like 110-ish or 100-ish, something like that. So I know some people feel bad for the people that bought candles before the raid started last week, but I bought my candle after raids ended, so I didn't even get to use mine during real raids.
Ouch.
So I didn't get to use it.
Painful.
Yeah, I didn't get to use mine until the actual weekends. I just wanted to get some more practice in on healing because I was changing around specs and stuff like that. So in my case, I didn't feel that bad because at least I managed to, put it through its paces. But after using it in some of the group finder raids, which is an excellent feature now, by the way, I'm going to add. The static, yeah, right, it's great, but it still felt pretty powerful. The static intellect gain alone is pretty up there, and I think it's a little over budget. I hope they don't nerf it, but I would not be surprised if they did. But the on use, the 20,000 mana. You know how much mana like I have right now on my priest? Like 180. That's almost over 10% or something like that. I don't know, something like that. But it's a ridiculous amount. And it had to be nerfed. At least it's not back down to its 5,000 mana. At least it's 10,000. But I personally, what I would have liked to see was the intellect buff get tuned down slightly and maybe get more of the mana return back. That's what I would have preferred to see. So,
what's the cooldown on the on use? Is it
2 minutes?
2 minutes. Okay,
2
so you can use it
so
2-3 times, or 2 times on like a butcher fight and more on something else.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. Yeah, twice on a butcher, 3 times if I really, really wanted to, go all nuts, right? But still, there were times when I was doing almost on the weekend raids, I was even using my Drainic mana potion or my Drainic channeled mana potion or whatever the heck it's called. Potions were a non-factor because I just kept spamming the trinket the whole time. So
Yeah. I just checked with my guildies. We've got one healer that has it, but everybody else didn't. So, but we did practice, calling out for, hey, I'm using the channeled mana. So there was lots of communication with our healers. And up until we hit the enrage on Butcher, we didn't really have a problem with our healers running So, I mean, it's a tight game, but Derevka on Twitter said, it's still pretty overpowered, so it's not like they completely devalued the item entirely, even with a big nerf like that. So
they just brought it back down in line with what it should have been at. And I feel that a lot of the Candlegate reaction, a lot of the people crying and just people complaining, I don't know if it was more reaction to the nerf or the fact that the Blizzard devs said one thing and then they changed their minds the next day later.
I think that's what it was.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Watcher said, yeah, buy it. That was the big deal, is that he encouraged strive for this item and then immediate turnaround. But, in the guy's defense, he was going off the information that he had at the time and walk into the office the next morning, they're like, hey, by the way, you see what this is doing? Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's not like he makes a cut off the all the candles that are being sold. Right?
Auction house cuts.
Jeez.
Sink.
But it does go to show that
it goes into the quarterly bonus.
Blizzard definitely listens, though. So they're listening. They're always listening. They will make adjustments when needed too. So I'm glad they don't have to worry about any of that crap as a DPS. I'm not like, oh, guys, I need this trinket. That way I can be the best.
I appreciate the fact that I don't have to struggle for mana unless I'm spamming spell steal, which I think I can get 4 off before I'm at 0.
I'm glad I don't have to worry about any of that crap. God, that makes me feel so good. I was just looking over while you guys were.
How good do you feel about those nerfs, though?
I don't get anything. I'm literally like the redheaded stepchild of Warcraft in this as a rogue. It's not like I have a seat at the table, but it's at the end of the table with the kids.
It's not a separate kids table.
No, you know what I mean. It's I'm still at the table, but it's you gotta really try to find me at the table. I'm not where I should be. So, but Blizzard had said again through these interviews that we're kind of just paraphrasing and nitpicking at is that they feel as though rogues are right where they should be, and okay, whatever they say. Yeah, they think 17K, 16K is right where they should be at, And then you have now you have what arcane mages doing like what 24 and like
What?
630 gear.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I want to reroll mage.
Dude, go check out Simcraft.
I need to go.
I have to go swap
I'm not gonna go check some craft. I'm gonna go check some butcher parses. That's what you want to go.
Well,
see.
you're
I
right,
was
but
to say,
even then,
check out some of the overalls on Warcraft logs. I know I cannot pronounce the Twitter name, but their handle is Svelte Kumquat. Was talking about rogue performance based on what was being tracked on Warcraft logs. And despite the fact that rogues weren't like top ranking, they were on average still performing a lot higher than some classes. So
yeah, they're like right in the middle. But here's the thing
Yeah.
that sucks about, not to go off my own little tangent here because I got stuff we got to talk about, but the way it works is that sub is supposed to be the absolute best damage once you get into mythic gear. However, assassination is actually the best at 630, but then it switches to combat at heroic, and then at mythic it switches to sub. So it's just like, and the drop off between each three is huge. So it's like, I'm saying like you're going to be doing like close to 40 in full mythic gear, right? Whereas like I think arcane and fire mages are rated at 44 at full best in slot. But then assassination is down to like, I think it's like 31. I mean, that's a huge difference. You're talking almost 10k. So, but then you have to go in with your loot specialization. So it's like, okay, if I'm gearing a certain way, and then all of a sudden I gotta be like, oh, oops, we're in mythic. I gotta go gear a different way now. Now, you know what I mean? Like that, the drop off is so significant that it's very hard to be like, to justify the DPS loss in normal and heroic, and then go into mythic and be like, well, trust me, guys, it'll be worth it. Like just bear with me for the next X amount of weeks until I get gear. You know what I mean? Like it's.
It was the same. It's the same way with mages. Like the stat specialization between them is very different, and that drop off from like in mists from throne to siege, like I had to completely re-roll my gear because it was nigh unusable.
Yeah,
and that happened to every tier. Like it's just kind of the meta game of the pure DPS classes. So
That's
I don't
terrible.
know. It's to be expected, so it doesn't bother me that much.
I don't know. I just want to
At
bitch
least I'm not
because I'm a
stuck
rogue.
playing one spec because it's OP the entire time. That gets boring.
Yeah, Will.
Give me my kill shot back.
No kill shots for you.
So
Actually,
before
it's not that bad. Not that bad.
So before we get into 6.1, still looking at the world race, looks like Ascension's still in first. 3 out of 7 mythic already, first day. What do you guys think about that? It's pretty impressive.
I have no idea who they are.
That's the
Be
point.
expected. And they went for, I think they went for Kargath, Butcher, and then Twin Ogron. So they skipped Tectus and Brackenspore.
No, they went Brackenspore.
They Brackenspore? Okay.
They
went-
Well,
They
that
skipped
actually
Butcher.
makes more sense.
I don't see.
That actually
I
makes
don't
more
see
sense.
Butcher. Oh yeah, they did kill Black and Sporks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
That's more
that's
of an execution
The one
plus a
thing
wave
is-
fight.
Is Method just doing terrible, or have they not started raiding for the day yet? That's I'm.
Europe hasn't gotten patched yet.
Yep.
right.
Oh, that's right.
They don't
Yeah.
get there till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, tonight?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Something
I
like
think
that, yeah.
tonight.
Welcome to you being second now, Europe.
Oh, hang on. Just give it like a day. I'm pretty sure they'll still just blow right by everybody.
Oh, of course.
By the
Of
time
course.
we make up
Peace,
tomorrow morning,
guys.
it's like Imperator. I'm like, oh man.
Yep. And they're done rating for this
Yeah.
this patch. So with 6.1, looking ahead into 6.1, there have been obviously one of the big talking points has been flying. Should they allow flying? Do we want flying? There was a poll on MMO Champ recently asking, do you guys prefer flying or not flying? Like you've had it kind of long enough now to get the feel for it, and what do you think? And 70% said they do not miss flying.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Disagree. I
The
miss
amount
it.
of recount.
So that's what they say. I know, obviously, Will must miss it. Matt misses it because he likes to be efficient. And I would imagine that Katie's probably somewhere in between because you like to explore and you like to kind of like, go off the beaten path. So I'm assuming you're either...
I'm not gonna lie. I have used more flight paths in Draenor than I have the entire time that I've played WoW, because mage and flying. But I'm looking forward to getting the flying back because jumping puzzles are not my thing. So I'm holding out.
So you guys
Stupid
want
reasons.
flying. Demand it.
I mean, if 6.1 is going to be like February time frame, okay, fine. I can last till like we're bored with Blackrock Foundry or something. But if we're talking like May, June time frame and we're still not gonna have flying at that point, I'm gonna be like mad, bro. Just gonna be mad, bro.
I think I will continue to level my alts in the Garrison because I don't want to run around on them. I don't like it's okay on my main, but on my alts I'm just like, I'm cool. I'll wait. I got a whole level.
Missions?
Yeah, I got a whole level on my druid this week from Garrison missions, and she's got 6 followers. So I'm okay with this.
Well, I mean, I don't really know how I feel. I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. I mean, I think I agree more with Will. It's like I like it now, but I'm not going to like it in a year or even 6 or 7 months. I don't think so, but we'll see. Who knows? You know, things may change. I doubt it, but they may change. They are going to add in more flight paths, so that's something that they are looking forward to. And you got to figure if they're shifting their resources towards adding more flight paths, they're probably not looking into adding flying in. So because that's very counterproductive. So QQ, no flying. There's a lot. There's so many like little cool items in the game though that can get around flying. I mean, you can't really.
Those wings are pretty awesome.
Yeah, so you can. I mean, it's not terrible. You know, this isn't like vanilla where it took you like 45 minutes to like get to the other continent and then down to Stranglethorn Vale or something stupid. You know, one thing I know that Katie and I will be very excited about come 6.1 is the new Blood Elf models will be unveiled finally. So now I get to run around all stupid looking and bitch about how I don't like the run animation. So my time is coming. Hopefully the same time I get rogue buffs.
Yeah, first rogues, now Blood Elf models, and flying.
Dude,
it's full of negativity.
I just get the screw in this game. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, like wow.
I'm gonna go play Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
You should.
Stuff sucks.
Or WildStar.
Well, at least you got DVG.
Yeah. At least I got those 40-minute DPS queues. Garrison updates. They did some updating there. Work order cheesing has been fixed. Did you guys do any of that stuff?
No, it's not fixed. They just know that it's a problem.
It's going to be fixed, right? Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right.
So keep cheesing while you can.
And yes, I've been cheesing. I didn't mention it last week because I was worried that it might get picked up. So.
Oh, they know.
Matt.
I know.
They always know.
I don't want to be the guy that ruins it for everybody, okay?
Oh, you don't want to be that guy, huh?
No.
You don't want to be Olivia Grace and changing Mindy 2 instead of 90 to skip Ashran?
I thought of that.
Nice.
Actually,
it's totally probably not her fault. I just remember like her pointing it out, and then like a day later on beta, it was fixed. So.
I did report something a long time ago during Wrath. There was a bug where you could stack Powered Barrier infinitely on top of each other, as long as the priest did not move. That was a pretty sweet bug.
Nice.
There's something on Shadow Priest that they can still exploit. I saw something about it today, but it didn't get fixed.
I'm going to go check that out for educational purposes.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Because you need to report those bugs. It's your civic duty.
Oh, yeah.
As a published author.
Did you guys see bugs fixed? Because I know, like, I reported the Hunter disengage bug like 1,000,000 times in beta, and then it still went live, and I reported it in live, and then it got fixed like 2 weeks into it. So
you know what else got fixed? The Hunter kill shot and the aim shot also got fixed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been reporting the rogue bugs for quite a while now, and they have gone unheard.
Probably working as intended.
Yeah, they always say we will address them soon. TM. Followers can now earn experience while working, which is cool. To get those guys leveled up and then geared up so you can get some of the better loot out of your Garrison missions. And the change to salvage crates is live, so that's interesting. Do you guys have the details on that? I remember reading it over, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. I know that like you get a guaranteed crate for level 100 missions. Yeah. You're gonna get a bag from what 90 to
94.
Yeah, and then after that it's that little in between from 94 to 100, right? Yeah. So that is kind of expected, I guess. I mean, because you could get some. I know I was doing them on my Paladin, on my ult, and I was getting some awesome gear, and I wasn't doing shit. You know, I would just do some missions, or I'd see some awesome gear pop up, do those, boom, guaranteed almost to get it, and then all of a sudden I'm jumping up in item level and I'm just destroying shit, which was awesome because when I'm leveling, it's just going really fast. So
Yeah, like I think it's a great change that they put it in, because before you had to have a low level follower around just to keep having those missions coming in.
yeah,
And the only way to get those salvage crates was to actually send followers out on missions, regardless of what level the missions were. Now with this change, though, we don't have to have a level 90 guy around. We don't have to have those low level followers lying around or whatever. We can just bench them and stick to our roster of hundreds just to get the guaranteed salvage loot. So in a way, it's kind of great. But on the other hand, it means I'm neglecting all my low level follower lobies, I guess.
Don't
That's what I
neglect
call
your lobies.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't need them anymore.
Your poor lobies.
They serve their purpose.
The only lobies I have are the ones that I keep recruiting for, is it Scavenger and Mount Speed? Because because I'm, as everybody's maxed out and they're starting to get rare and get epic, the quests are getting longer and longer, and that epic mount is quite nice.
is it just me or did I miss this? But the Garrison resources for the level 100 missions are dropped significantly. Is that just me? Because people were stacking scavengers on them, and then so
some days I get a ton and some days I don't get any. I think it's just kind of cyclical.
I don't know, because lately I've been getting like 34, 42, but then I'll put scavengers on them and I'm bumped up to a couple hundred. But before it was like 200 and you put a scavenger on and you're getting like 3 of them and you're getting like 800 Garrison resources in one mission. You're like, yeah.
I'm pretty sure those are meant to be like really rare ones. Sometimes they pop up and maybe they don't appear as often if you've already sent them out there, right? Like,
but I feel like they were coming all the time before. I think it was quite frequent for me.
If you have some of the Garrison manager add-ons, one of the recent updates will actually tell you the hourly cycle of some of those quests. So it might be that.
God, this game, there's no wonderment in this game anymore. There is no like, how does this work? I'm gonna go explore, guys.
Well,
it's like, nope, I'm gonna hit map.
Well, did you see that little blurb somewhere? I forget where I read this. I know I can't source it for you right now, but there was some blue post or something on a tooltip being wrong or a tooltip not explaining something within a garrison, and the response from the blue was, well, we want you to not have to always, we don't want to always have you get everything from the tooltip and everything in game. We want you to experiment a little bit. It was the usage of re-rolling a stat, re-rolling stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they didn't want to document like bodyguard can't be re-rolled, but this other stuff will re-roll. They just wanted you to find that out, and people
I
were
wish
mad
I would
about
have
that.
had a little more clarity on that Supreme Manual of Dance, because it re-rolled my Jewel Crafter follower, and if I hadn't had 2, I probably would have lost my shit. Because it changed his actual regular stat to danger zones, and his trait is also now a buff to danger zone. So he's danger zone with a side of danger zone, and it was pretty infuriating. So I just started deleting them. I don't use them, I delete them. So, and he got benched today, actually.
Damn.
Poor I feel bad because I like him. He's my only Grand Eye. He's pretty and shirtless.
World of Garrisons.
We could go,
.com/org.
like, another 40 minutes on Garrison.
I know,
I'm sure.
sadly.
We could go for Garrisons for days.
You could. I just won't be here.
But
Yeah, right.
We'll talk about what's on the top of Matt's mind right now, which is raiding.
Yes.
Raiding happens very soon for him. There are some other news bit items that came out from the interviews. One was that we're going to at least have 2 raid tiers for this expansion. 3 is a possibility. Ooh, mystery. And they're aiming for 6 months per tier, so that would mean, I guess, when does the tier officially start for this one? Because is it when
December 2nd?
BlackRock's out? Well, but BlackRock's going to be out, and it's freaking huge.
It's like a tier 1.5, I'd say. I don't know if it's a full tier.
Yeah, well, it's 10 bosses, so it's
Yeah.
really long. But so maybe we're talking May at the earliest for the end of this tier, maybe July at the latest for this tier.
Yeah, probably. I would say the late spring, early summer is a good bet.
That would make sense, and then they come out
Yeah.
with the expansion at the end of the year-ish.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like it might even be later than that, because when did Throne drop? May, and the expansion launched in September,
No, Throne dropped
April?
not May. Yeah, April, March. Might be earlier than that, actually. Might be February even.
I guess I could look at my achievements since I'm in game trying to hide from the Zul'jin queue.
Nice.
There was a queue before 5 o'clock. I'm not playing that game.
Well, other things that
Literally, you would not be playing the game.
Yeah,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Now, other things you can queue for is that yield group finder. We mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge impact. What are you guys? How are you guys using it?
Every single day, I love it.
Yeah, I use it a lot too. I think it's great too because it cleans up a lot of the stupid chat stuff that would typically troll. Like it feeds the trolls less, you know, in a lot of the chat rooms, which is great because that way I don't get annoyed because I'm looking down and reading stuff. It's just like looking for 1 DPS. I'm all. It's like, how about your mom? My mom's dead. Your mom's not dead. You know how it goes. The typical stuff.
It looks like Throne came out in March of last year. So it was
Yeah,
a
so
very
spring.
it was a very tight, like 5 or 6 months. So I think we might see the next tier even later, maybe July.
Yeah. June, July.
Because they're not going to pull another Siege of Orgrimmar. They aren't going to do that again.
No, Siege was always the last instance. The last instance, it's the period between the final tier and the next expansion that's always the longest.
Yeah,
in
it is.
Every single expansion.
No, it is.
Dragon Soul and
Yeah.
ICC and, you know.
Yeah, Siege was the longest, but only by like a month.
Yeah, other than ICC.
Yeah.
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 And Dragon
ICC,
Soul was
they threw
actually
in,
shortest.
They threw in Ruby Sanctum in that one, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah. At
But
least
see,
it
I
was
feel like ICC was
pin
worth it,
pump.
though.
Yeah.
I think that ICC was so awesome and the storyline was so good and actually was pretty hard where it was it kind of justified it being that length, whereas Siege I don't feel like this is what I'm going to say it didn't feel like it was the same, but if you actually look at the hard numbers before the nerfs, not a lot of people actually killed heroic. Actually they didn't finish, a lot of them didn't even get past the 3rd wing on heroic. So if you see the numbers just drop off pretty sharply. So that was to go back and actually look at the numbers is pretty interesting. But I say that with very loosely.
And
I'll
technically,
give in like scope and scale, Siege was on par with ICC as far as like complexity and how many bosses are in there. Where Dragon Soul was kind of piddly by comparison. At least that's how I feel about it. Like I was okay spending as much time in Siege as we were because we still had stuff to kill.
I
I
just
was
don't.
also going to add that Black Temple was originally supposed to be the final tier of Burning Crusade, but they had to release Sunwell because it took so much time to develop Wrath. So that would
I
have had
didn't know that.
Yep. Sunwell was supposed to be a filler raid.
Really?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sunwell was a filler raid. So, yeah.
Maybe they should just go back to making those because they were good.
Filler raids?
Yeah.
So,
Back then.
yeah.
Things are different back then, though, man. Things are different. I mean, that's the thing you got to figure too is that a lot of people, not to go off on this crazy tangent, which we're going to again, but I mean, with Warlords, a lot of this seems easier, and just the general gameplay seems a lot easier and straightforward. And I don't know if it's because we have all these add-ons that are basically telling us what to do
Yeah.
constantly, because back then we didn't have that shit.
It's more forgiving now. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
it certainly is. You know, I mean, this is definitely baby's first MMO. At least it's turning into. It's like the Call of Duty of MMOs. You know what I'm saying? It's like ugh. That's it, guys. We're gonna go play Final Fantasy. I'm gonna change this background around right now. We're gonna go play A Realm Reborn.
Let's go just play Overwatch.
Yeah, we are gonna play the shit out of some Overwatch. Oh man! But the whole point of all this was hopefully, you know, that these tiers won't be so bad, and even the last tier in this expansion won't be quite as long as Siege, and that they'll be a little bit more prepared to release the content in a more timely manner. Also, it will prevent the massive amounts of server crashes that were happening when Warlords released, because that's another thing they had mentioned is Blizzard had mentioned recently was there were so many people that got done in BC and Wrath that came back for Warlords that they didn't expect that many people to come back. They just didn't. So that's what happened to the servers. They're like, oh, we expect maybe like another, X amount, 2,000 people per server or something. It like doubled that or tripled that or whatever. It definitely hit server capacity every time. So that was hopefully if they can time it out better, people will stay longer, and that will make the launches go smoother as well. Something else I know we wanted to mention real quick about the rating was the stones versus the clusters, right? So here's my thing. This is my 2 cents on this. I don't get shit for gear drops ever. Okay, I've run like Shadow Moon Burial Ground like literally like 20 times for a dagger and it just won't drop. But every time I get a cluster of stones, I always get 5. Every time. Like, how does that work? I don't understand. It's like the game. It's like some kind of like crazy troll. It's like, oh, you want this crappy heroic dungeon dagger? Nah, but we're gonna give you all these stones that you want, buddy. Like, thanks, man. I hate you.
Hey, that legendary ring is important.
Yeah, but I can't raid.
All of your RNG goes into the legendary ring.
But the thing is, I can't raid
Have
and
you gone to farm the bindings? Go farm the bindings. Let's see if they drop for you.
I'm just saying, like, I can't like contribute that well to the raid if my gear is shit because I can't get heroic dungeon gear to drop. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It's like, I mean, how many of those do you guys have now, anyways? What's your guys' count at? You gotta be up in the 60s, 70s, somewhere in there.
No, I didn't get as many bosses cleared as Katie there. I only have 33, something like that.
I have like 40.
I have 33, and I did not run the full last week, and I missed the 6th boss in Heroic, and then I did LFR this morning. Everything else I picked up from work orders, like out of my Garrison. I picked up like 6 or 7 out of my Garrison.
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost insulting because it's a similar percentage to rating.
And like 1 out of a random work order.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well,
right.
1 to 3.
Yeah.
I've got 3 out of 1 plus the Garrison, and that's not including the Garrison missions because I think I did 1 and missed the other. And then I got 8 out of LFR this morning.
Well, I would ask Matt how many he has, but I already know he has the legendary ring because he's that far ahead of us. So, he collected the stones in like the first day.
Yeah, level to 100. Ooh, got the little thing,
Yep.
The Abrogator quest.
Yep,
Let's
done.
roll the dice.
Yep. Somehow he exploited the scavenger Garrison mission, log out, log back
Wouldn't
in,
that be awesome?
do it again.
Scavenger on Abrogator stones?
Oh, yeah.
9. Be 9, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see why not, I mean, if we have the people for it and they're going to give us to them in our Garrison rewards, and, gotta make sense. So, one thing I'm going to be super excited to talk about, is class changes that just went live. Technically, I think they went live yesterday night. Kind of like a hotfix, like rolling fixes. But there are some certain classes that got some very good buffs, and certain classes that did not, and then certain classes that don't even get looked at all. So we won't name any names. Frost Death Knights end up getting an increased pretty good buffs on Frost Strike, Howling Blast, and Obliterate. I don't really know anyone that plays Frost quite frequently. Do you guys? I don't really know any like numbers, hard numbers on any of those, so I don't know if that's actually viable.
The one guy I knew doesn't play anymore.
That's why they buffed it, because no one plays Frost. Frost sucks. Okay, heard. Hunters, yeah, will. Obviously got the old reduction to kill shot and aim shot. I can't remember who it was. I think I was watching like Duck Sauce. You guys know who Duck Sauce is, the streamer?
Yes.
Okay. Well, he was talking about, he's like, dude, if you get hit by like 2 aim shots and a couple kill shots from a hunter, like, you deserve to die. It shouldn't the fact that they need to nerf it. It's just like, you're an idiot and you deserve to die.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah,
You deserve it.
it's like, you're right.
So, is this a PvP nerf or like what was it?
Yeah, he PvPs specifically, but
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
see, okay.
But he was
I
just
think in that sense, yeah.
right. He was saying, in terms of PvP, like, if Blizzard's looking at it from that aspect, it's like, well, I mean, as another player, like, you certainly have the utility to not get hit by those things. You know what I mean? Pretty much every class has either some kind of defensive cooldown or something they can use. So, mages, obviously got huge buffs.
It's like half a page of mage buffs.
Yeah, it's because we got it all color coded in our notes, and it's just blue everywhere, which of course is the buff color. But they are now best in slot. Arcane is number 1 for Mythic, full Mythic best in slot, and Fire is number 2, followed by Arcane at number 5. So the top 5 DPS, 3 of the top 5 are Mage, followed sharply by Warrior.
Sharply.
So it's all Mage and Warriors, and that is it, buddy.
I'm actually really surprised that the buffs were that sweeping. I'm really surprised that they bothered to buff Frost at all, because like my GM and I, we were rocking 642 last week, and we were just raffle stomping everybody with the exception of the hunters. And even then, we could get the jump on them because the burst is really strong in Frost. I almost expected a PvP related nerf to Ice Nova. Really, really surprised that didn't happen.
Frostbolt's damage did get increased by 25%.
25%. Wow.
25%.
All right.
So ridiculous, man.
All right.
Can't even give a rogue 5% buff to like Envenom, but no, I'm 25%
Well, the mage in our guild said that Frostbolt increase was only about a 5% increase.
Because of the mobility, right?
But that's still an increase. Which
yeah, like you don't
wasn't
you
what we were
don't
looking
spend
at.
a lot of time casting Frostbolt. It's all about using your Brain Freeze and your Ice
Right.
Lance, and your
Yeah.
Novas, and all that stuff. So it makes sense. It just still kind of surprised me that there weren't nerfs rolled in there.
Monk got a nerf to Rising Sun Kick, down to from 15% to 10. I don't know, Matt, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know anything about monks. I can't comment on anything. It's like
That.
You should know everything, Matt. So
I do know everything, but doesn't mean I have to comment on everything.
But I just wanted to. I was just saying. You never know. Sometimes you have something
Shannon,
smart to say.
however.
Now,
Shannon.
yeah, they end up getting huge buffs as well, all across the board. All three specs got big damage increases, and of course, Resto got a huge 5% increase. I think that's a huge 5% increase to Restoration Wave is now 30% up from 25. I think a little 5%, especially with healing, makes a pretty big difference. So in this expansion, with the numbers being so low.
The damage ones are great though, because I know some of the shamans. That's twice now actually that they got buffed, because they got hotfixed what, 2 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah. So that's twice now that they've been fixed. And you know, this is probably a topic for a different episode, but we gotta figure out what the heck is wrong with shamans right now, because there's something going on with that class in general. I'm not sure if the devs have any idea what direction they want to take them, because it seems like it's the one class where the design just doesn't seem fully fleshed out yet anymore. It's like they lost their identity, I guess.
It's like it's like they lost some really key
like
designers and developers.
It's just, what the heck? So
Fury also got some buffs as well, which was interesting to see Fury getting buffs because Arms is strong and Prot is still fairly strong.
Gladiator.
The Gladiator stance, but now they just figured, you know what? Instead of fixing that, we'll just give Fury a buff, and then we'll put him right in the middle of the pack, which is about where they are right now. Still above Rogues, which notice I did not mention, along with Feral Druids and pretty much every single tank class. So,
Gladiator spec.
Mm.
Throw it in there.
Feral Druids are still pretty good though right now until you get into Mythic rating best in slot, so they should be top 5 right in there. So as long as you're single, if you're geared towards single target DPS, that is. Yeah, so there you go. So pretty much I got the shit end of the stick. Katie won. Matt is indifferent.
Part of the stick.
I didn't even get the stick.
No.
I got the.
I'm awesome naturally as it stands.
I got nothing.
You get to ride the pine.
I would say that Will got the bad end.
Mm-hmm.
And you are nowhere.
Well, and even worse, like it's a 4.5% nerf to marksmanship, which they said we were out of line. Yes, kill shot, whatever. But kill shot actually affects beast mastery too, which was already not doing that great. So beast mastery hunters are even more upset because they need survival. If you want to be meh. He can be survival because now it's somewhat more in line with marksman, but
Yeah.
there's just no point to playing Beastmaster right now.
Ah, yes. So there you go. So I don't know
Cheers.
where you fared, but you guys know where we all fared. So some of us are happy, some of us aren't. So we're gonna do shouts real quick so we can get Matt to race so he doesn't scream at me. Shout outs, guys.
He's
Anyone?
learning.
I know better now.
No shout-outs for me.
No. Any shouts for you guys? The other two to my left and right. Not literally, metaphorically. Nay and nay. Okay.
No.
We have no
Get
shouts.
some rating done.
To hell with all of you
Richie,
guys.
Richie.
What?
No, I got one.
Okay.
Do I get to have one?
Yes, you get one. Real quick.
Our casuals, our voyeurs in our guild, they have been getting all
Casuals.
of the
What?
recipes and
Casuals.
stuff for main raiders, and I do gotta give a big shout out to those guys because they keep us stocked.
Wow. How
Did you say
did
casuals and what?
The rank in the guild is called voyeur, but they're non-raiders, so they come on casual runs,
I don't know what that means.
and they live vicariously through our raiding achievements, I guess.
Yeah.
But no. They're good
Awkward.
I was just like, that word threw me off.
Awkward.
I was like, what?
Voyeur.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they come and watch my stream while we raid, so in reality, they're quite voyeurs.
I also really don't have any shoutouts because that's just the way it goes. So deal with it, people. So that's it. 43 done in the books. Head over to bluespro.com for show notes. This episode, you can leave us comments on the show. Contact us by leaving us feedback. Edge@bluespro.com. Don't forget to follow our Twitters. The show's Twitter, which is edge_bluesprotv. And of course, guys, you know the drill. Till next week. Yeah, we'll see you then. Peace.
Pasta.
Yeah, I guess.